What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to Evelyn's EP, Stars Align. Of course, not being able to stick to any schedule, Zenless has released this EP at a completely arbitrary time compared to the usual stuff, but that's fine, it's fine. I'm excited to see what this entails. I'm curious to see if it's going to take some stylistic stuff from Astra's music and such, given how close their connection is, and the fact that we even in this thumbnail can see a little drawing of Astra, or if it'll have more of its own unique style for Evelyn. Either way, this thumbnail is very cute looking. It looks like there might be some cooking happening, so without further delay, feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and let's get into this. Alright, what kind of music are we gonna get? Alright, starting pretty traditional for her, but she's in a suit. Hi, Astra. Suitcase, okay. Ooh. Okay. Morning exercise, I guess. I'm already liking the vibe of the song. Is this early on in their relationship? All the weapons? Interesting. Alone. Not having a great meal. Hungry on the job. Oh my god, Astra! You are not set out to be a cook. Food nonetheless. And even if it's not that great food, he's with someone now. Okay, another day. I feel like this is more animated than some of these music videos end up being. Might just be me though. Learning how goofy fucking Astra can be. She's now in her actual outfit. Nice, okay. Progression of time. Oh, and now Astra's hungry, so she's gonna try to make a meal, I assume? Yep, she's trying. It doesn't look like it's going well, though. Oh my god! Oh, it looks about as good. Jesus, it looks about as good as what Astra made. Nice try there, Astra. Not selling it too well. Oh, is she taking time to learn how to cook now? Oh, that's cute. Wow. Actually good this time. That's cool. I love the layering of the voices and the music here. And then Astra is waiting for her at the end of her jog. Yo, that's really fucking good. I really love this. It really taps into what they've been pushing with everything about Evelyn's character, of her being someone who was basically this cold, unfeeling killing machine before meeting Astra, at which point she began to be able to be her own person and live her own life and do things that she actually cares about and do things for people she cares about. So if I'm understanding visually what's going on here, we're opening with what I would assume is pretty much the first day that Evelyn and Astra meet. She's not in her usual outfit. She's just in a suit. She's twirling a knife like she did in her own demo. And when Astra gets out of the car, she notices Evelyn. Evelyn picks up a suitcase, another sign that this is probably her first day on the job. She has all her stuff packed up and is getting ready to settle into this new life, which currently for her is probably still just a mission. And one fun note that I didn't fully process because we hadn't heard the song yet is when Astra is getting out of the car here, there's a song playing on the radio. And I think it is actually the same song that is playing in this music video, which though that doesn't necessarily mean anything crazy, it's an interesting touch for the song that is designed to represent Evelyn is first heard with the arrival of Astra. It's sort of this metatextual layer of thematics, where it is literally signaling this change in Evelyn's life that the song speaks about and this connection to Astra that is formed, all is because of Astra entering her life. But then as we fade into this repeated pattern of Evelyn's morning runs, the song begins proper. And the first line is so fucking poignant. I lost my name yesterday. Tying in the stuff we know about Evelyn from her demo, we know that she is someone who trades her names constantly. She's never sticking to one alias. She's never allowing herself to be any singular person for long. And so within the context that this is her first day on the job as a bodyguard of Astra, before she's fully settled into this is a life she wants to live, it's still a job to her, she has just yesterday traded aliases, replacing one name with another, and in another way of phrasing it, lost her previous name. The weight of the world was in my head. She is here on a mission. She is here for something important, something that she can't let her own feelings and beliefs cloud. That is where she is at in this point in time when she is first starting this mission. Whether she actually knows the reason for this mission, she has been able to convince herself that being this tool is something important. She carries the weight of the world, at least she believes she does, or maybe even hopes she does, on the result of this mission, but she is not able to vocalize that or act on it in any way other than silently following the mission. So it's all just bundled up in her head still, this weight. She can't show that she's burdened because that would damage the mission. But then as she's stepping into Astra's home for the first time looking around, we then cut to her stepping into a closet, storage area or whatever that seems to be both a storage for all of her weaponry as well as a bit of a training area perhaps, with the line, "You led me far away from where I'd been." Between the line and the visuals, it makes me think of the idea that she is used to these dark, hidden spaces filled with tools of death, and now she is stepping into a bright and inviting, large home being that of Astra's. Something that maybe she's familiar with within the context of her missions, but the welcoming energy of Astra and therefore her home is something she is not familiar with. She's familiar with being alone in the shadows, not together in the light. But obviously here, her entering this space with all her weapons is shortly after one of her runs, whether it's the one we just saw or a previous one, who's to say. Probably the one we just saw, but whatever. All the pain cut me so deep as we pan across some weapons in the foreground. This weight she's carrying isn't just necessarily the expectations of her mission, but also the weight of all that she has done up till now. She may be very good at not showing it, but she has scars and wounds from everything she's done. In all likelihood, not everyone she has killed or disposed of or whatever she's doing, in all likelihood, not all of those people deserved it. And whether or not she allows herself to accept that, whether or not she is willing to process the fact that she may have killed people who were good people, or at the very least not bad people, even if she's not consciously letting herself accept that, that would still cut deep. But once then, we cut to the more welcoming and bright space that Astra is leading Evelyn into. Alongside the line, "Your voice erased my fear." All of this is showing this dichotomy between her past life as this heartless tool of the organization she worked for and the caring bodyguard that she becomes thanks to Astra. It's Astra's voice, her welcoming nature, that washed away all of her hurt and pain and fear about everything that she has done in the past. And we continue this comparison. When I saw this shot, I knew for a fact it was going to be mirrored later because it's just good visual storytelling. But to have Evelyn alone, eating just cup noodles, nothing special, just a simple meal alone, though there is this ray of light coming in, she is still almost entirely in the shadow. And across from her is another chair that is distinctly empty. And once again, this is matched by the lyrics, I've cried 1,000 times. I cried again. I couldn't breathe. Evelyn is a master of hiding what she feels and what she has done and who she is, but there is always a breaking point eventually. She's managed to hide all of these times that she has cried and broken down and felt suffocated by everything she has done, but she has so far been able to keep that unknown to others. What this paints the picture of is someone who has done countless horrible things that perhaps have justifications, but nonetheless horrible things, and it has broken her down over time. Even if she believes in what she is doing, it still cuts away at her, it still burdens her, it still leaves her suffocated and emotionally exhausted constantly. And that line is followed up by, I've tried a million ways to make it right. She's been searching for a way to alleviate all of this pain that she has. Nothing has worked so far, until meeting Astra, that is. She has struggled for a way to justify everything she has done, to find a reason to keep doing it without it destroying her. And though the visual isn't immediately synonymous with the lyrics, we have the distinct visual and a little bit of audio that she is very hungry. Astra takes note of this, at which point the visual and lyrics reunite. Though she may not be verbally saying, oh, I'm hungry, I need some help, or even on the deeper layer, I am emotionally and physically crushed by everything I have done, I need help, but the line, could you give me a hand, does have a representation here. Her stomach is growling, she's hungry, is something instinctual that is made known to Astra without Evelyn needing to say anything. And then, of course, on the deeper level, it is this quiet yearning for someone to help pull Evelyn out of the pit she is in. And then we have the line that gets repeated a few times here of take me away. This yearning, this begging, this desire to be pulled out of the pit that is everything she's done. She is trapped and she needs someone to pull her out of it. And even if she can't consciously and intentionally ask for that, Astra is the kind of person who can pick up on those kinds of signs. For example, on the simplest level of this, Evelyn is hungry. Evelyn didn't ask for Astra to do anything about that, but as we see in a moment here, Astra decides to make her a meal. It immediately puts Astra on this pedestal as the kind of person who has the potential and willingness and want to pull Evelyn out of the darkness. Whether it is as simple as making a meal for someone who is hungry, or helping someone who is in the pits of despair, even if they won't show it, Astra is the kind of person who wants to help. And before continuing on, the last thing I'll note about this shot, I find it sort of fitting and fun that they have the line, could you give me a hand, when in the background there is the logo of some company or whatever that appears to be two hands grasping each other. It's obviously stylistic, but that's sort of what it looks like. Whether that's intentional or a coincidence, either way, I think it's just fun. At which point we immediately just cut to the meal that Astra has made. It doesn't look that great. It's not like inedible, but it doesn't look great. It's not very presentable. And we see that clearly Astra is not much of a cook. She clearly had a lot of trouble. She's disheveled, she's covered in ash, the spatula is smoking, she has bandages on her fingers, evidently she probably cut herself a bit when cutting things. Astra is not someone who is skilled at what she was doing, but she did it anyway because it was a way to help Evelyn. And of course this is something so incredibly minor. It isn't something so grand as pulling Evelyn out of the darkness, but something so simple as this also serves as the first step towards achieving that greater goal, even if it is not intentional on either of their parts yet. And to represent this, we have the line, we shared and turned the storm into a calming night. Notably, this is the first time in the song that we is used, not I or you. It's the first time that Evelyn and Astra are represented as a unit, a pair that are doing something together, rather than someone who is alone and isolated who has suffered, who is silently asking for help. It is now the two of them together, sharing their experiences with each other, and eventually turning the storm that is Evelyn's life and her experiences and all of her suffering into a calming night, a life that she can live happily. And as Evelyn takes note specifically of the bandages on Astra's fingers, more than anything else, a representation of the fact that Astra is willing to get hurt if it means helping someone out, we have the line, the sparks in the sky start to shine in the dark and the stars aligned. The dark sky begins to shine brightly. Those sparks in the sky, the stars, they are now shining, and they've aligned to serve as a path towards a better life with Astra. And no matter how minor it is, Evelyn takes that first step towards it. No matter how poor the meal seems, recognizing the effort that Astra put into it, she goes to eat the food. And it's not particularly good. She doesn't seem particularly overjoyed or anything, but she is eating a meal that someone else made for her. Something that clearly she has not had much of ever. And then we have the payoff to the setup of before, when Evelyn was alone in the darkness at a table, this seat across from her empty, as she ate a basic and sort of sad meal. She's now sitting at a table across from someone who spent the time and effort to make a homemade meal for the two of them, and there is no shadow to be seen here, no darkness, pure light. And this is paired with the line, "It's always you," and it repeats in a moment, "always you." The stars shining and aligning, the storm becoming a calm night. All of this is because of you, Astra. You are the one who saved me. Within the perspective of Evelyn, which this song is clearly of, this is an admission that pretty much everything good in Evelyn's life has come from Astra, and this is paired with her eating the full meal, regardless of how good it actually was. At which point we begin this continued cycle. This is the second time that we see her on her morning run. Notably though, the first time we had her on a run, it was before the sun even is fully shining. Everything is lit, but still sort of dim, and everything is cast in faint shadows. Where now, Evelyn is still in darkness, in this dim shade, but the rest of the city has been lit up. It is bright now. A subtle change. She hasn't been saved from the darkness yet at this point, but she is seeing the light that exists in the world around her. And it's with this that we have the line, "I lost my way all the time." Reflective of the similar line at the beginning, "I lost my name yesterday." It is speaking to things lost, but this time, rather than it being something she lost, an identity she lost, now it is speaking to her personal confusion, the unsureness of where she is going, contemplating all the times that she made choices that did not lead her where she wanted to go. And it's not just that she's lost her way often, it's all the time. She is perhaps now at this point capable of realizing in herself that the life I have led is not one that I enjoy. It is not a life that fulfills me, and it is not a life that I can look back proudly on. Looking back at everything I have done, it is as if I was on the wrong path. And even if she can't necessarily see what the right path is yet, she is realizing that she wasn't on that path. She was on the wrong path this entire time. But you lifted the shadows. Astra did. This is a song sung by Evelyn to Astra. I've been on this wrong path for so long, and I don't know what the right path is, but you are lifting that curtain, pulling away the shadows, making it so I can perhaps see what a future I would be happy in would look like. At which point we have a bit of a montage through various moments between Evelyn and Astra. Astra clearly sleeping in, Evelyn not sure what to do about that, Evelyn doing her job, protecting Astra at some kind of event, watching over Astra as she does some kind of press talk. It's alongside these visuals that the same line of thought of the previous lines continues. It was you who took me out of memories in black and white. I in the past viewed life as this black and white good and evil, justified and unjustified way of the world. I did things because they had to be done. It does not matter the moral value of those actions because they had to be done. There are things that have to be done and things that don't need to be done, and everything I have done had to be done. That is a justification that Evelyn would have had to exist in to stay at all sane in the life she was in. But in her time with Astra, she has been pulled out of that. Astra pulled her out of this forced black and white way of the world and showed her that there is more to life than just doing what has to be done. Standing in front of me, Astra is this shining beacon, this example of what a fulfilled life can look like to Evelyn. And Evelyn is following every footprint that shapes my fantasy. Evelyn is paying close attention to the path that Astra leads, and she finds that path to be one that she is fantasizing about, a life that she yearns to live. But it's at this point that visually we have the mirroring of one of their first interactions. Astra is hungry, and Evelyn takes note of that. And so, in response, perhaps asked by Astra, or of her own accord, who's to say, Evelyn decides to make a meal for Astra, much in the way that Astra did for her in one of their first interactions. And it's here that we get the repeated line from before, "I've tried a million ways to make it right. Could you give me a hand?" But it takes on an interesting context here with the visuals of Astra asking Evelyn to do something for her. Because though in a literal sense this is Astra asking something of Evelyn, I don't think that in the song we are changing perspectives. I think we are still all from Evelyn's perspective within the song. So where my mind goes as an interpretation of this is that Astra making Evelyn a meal when she was hungry was the first step towards Evelyn being pulled out of the darkness. Now having an opportunity to do something for Astra in the same manner is another one of those steps. The help that Astra is offering here is not literal help in the sense of doing something for Evelyn, as much as it is offering an opportunity for Evelyn to show how much she cares about Astra and to embrace at least a piece of a lifestyle that she has not yet been able to live, but fantasizes about being able to one day. Giving Evelyn the opportunity to take a step towards that. At which point, as I guess it's essentially the chorus goes on, it's all the same lyrics as far as I know, we have a more explicit visual of Evelyn struggling in the kitchen. She is not doing a great job, to the point that when Astra realizes what's going on, she is real fucking surprised. At which point the meal that Evelyn serves is the same meal that Astra made for her, and it's of similar degree of poor quality. And we see, similarly to how Astra was, Evelyn is covered in soot, sort of awkwardly holding the spatula. But the difference here is where Astra was in this disheveled state, but still all smiles, Evelyn, despite being in less of a sorry state than Astra was, she is more nervous, more shy in this moment, more embarrassed at her poor cooking. Where Astra was just making a meal for someone who was hungry because she wanted to, and that's the kind of person she is, Evelyn doing this holds much more meaning. For someone who has essentially never shown any of the real person beneath the mask to anyone, making a home-cooked meal for someone that she cares about is a big deal. And so seeing the effort that Evelyn put in, Astra eats some of the food, but where Evelyn was just sort of blank-faced and non-reactive when she ate, Astra isn't as good at hiding her reactions to things, so the quality of the food gets more of a reaction out of her as she almost sort of chokes and coughs a little bit, but she catches herself and gives a thumbs up nonetheless. Evelyn can see through this, of course, though. But luckily, Evelyn doesn't see this as a complete failure. Rather than giving up, Evelyn starts researching and starts practicing. She tries to hone her skill at cooking. It's also here where there's the one difference in the lines from the chorus, where the previous one ended with "it's always you" and then the repetition "always you." This time, the line is "it's always you by my side." It is making more explicit the statement that it was before, rather than just leaving it as an open suggestion of "it is always you that is doing something for me" or "is there," that you have to sort of look at the subtext of to understand, even if it's not that hard to. This time it is explicitly saying, "You are always there for me. You are always by my side, helping me, pulling me out of the darkness, working together with me to turn the storm into a calm night." But as more and more books get stacked, we can see notes. We see her cooking again, this time with far less smoke. And though barely, we can also see that her posture is a bit less awkward. She's not like hunching over the pan. "You found the key. You showed me the path." It's at this point where the song more universally is more optimistically looking at the now compared to the past rather than the past compared to the future. Each chorus has started with a begging for Astra to take Evelyn out of the shadows, out of the storm, where now, in the past tense, this is saying, "You gave me the key, you showed me the path out of that," which implies she has gotten out of it. She is out of the pit, she is out of the storm, she can see the path forward now. She is no longer lost. And it was Astra who gave her the key to that, who showed her that path. And as we are shown an actually really solid meal that Evelyn has made for Astra, we have the layered lyric on top of the held last part of the previous one, "I'll be right here." I feel like realistically has two interpretations. One, this is Evelyn basically saying to Astra, "You have done so much for me, you are the reason I am living a happy life. Therefore, I will be there for you always." But because it is layered on top of the previous line, and there is this continued layering going forward, I think perhaps this is Astra joining the song. It is no longer this solo lament of Evelyn's life. It is now a duet between two people who care deeply about each other. In which case, this is Evelyn saying, "You've done so much for me. You are the reason I am happy and living a life that I enjoy," only followed by an affirmation of Astra saying, "Don't worry, I'll be right here. I still will be here. Even though you are doing better, I'm not gonna stop helping you. We are together in all of this." And visually we have matching that, Astra tasting the meal and it clearly being actually good. there's a light that shines in her eyes as she gives a thumbs up. And it's with this positive affirmation, the music continues to build, and there's the two layered lines, "where I am" alongside "where you are," which in one interpretation is Evelyn saying "where I am" and Astra mimicking "where you are," sort of just call and responding to each other, where alternatively, if this is all just Evelyn still, she's acknowledging where she currently stands and where in relation that is to Astra. But the line here is "a glowing sight in your arms," which feels less call and response as it does just one continuous line, but that is sort of partially layered. But either way, it is speaking to the fact that where the two of them stand now is together. They are this glowing sight together in each other's arms. They, embracing each other, are a shining star. And it's here that as we go over a list of, I guess, ingredients or whatever, the two performances layer completely on top of each other, which can either be seen as Astra and Evelyn are in perfect alignment in this moment, fitting to the name of the entire song being Stars Align. They have aligned completely at this point. Or it can be seen as this is just a deeply visceral piece of what Evelyn believes. Or even potentially the interpretation that before these were all just things that she held within her, but now she is not just believing these things, but also saying them explicitly. But nonetheless, either way, it is an admission from Evelyn that Astra is always in her heart. Astra is everything to Evelyn at this point. And it's at this point where we return to this dark closet that we originated in with Evelyn, which has all her weapons and tools and old clothes, but now there's a light shining into it. And many of the weapons fade away, now replaced with presents. More clothes, more presents, bags. The dark past is being replaced with a happy present and future. And in line with that, the lyrics continue. Faded dreams, stolen light, fleeting pulse. Can you see the stars collide? For the longest time, Evelyn was aimless. She had no sense of her future and was disgusted by her past. But Astra was able to align the two of them, these two stars in motion separately. Astra's arrival in Evelyn's life was able to align them on a collision course where they can then be together. The stars have collided, and now this dark past is fading away, replaced with a shining light, enabling them both to shine brighter because of it. And as we return to Evelyn's morning run, we start very similarly to the previous one, where the city is lit up, but Evelyn isn't yet, a glimpse of something so real and so alive. We will shine so bright in the dark beneath the starry sky. And it's with this that Evelyn passes out of the darkness into the light. We may be in the darkness of the light, but that does not mean we cannot shine. We may be trapped in this darkness, but we will together be the lights that shine brightly within it. No longer is Evelyn lamenting her past or begging to be freed from her present. She is saying, we will continue to shine together. It's not just that you will be my guiding light, but that you have got me to a point where I can shine beside you. A glimpse of something, once again repeating that line. Like you and I, in this moment, look into your eyes. And as Evelyn slows, coming to a stop in her morning run, now in the light, she is welcomed again by Astra. No longer is she alone in the darkness, but rather she is in the light. She has someone who is there waiting for her. Someone who cares about her. Someone she cares about. Her eyes mirror the sky when the stars align. I absolutely love this. More than anything else, this paints the picture of what Astra's impact on Evelyn's life was. We had the implications of this in the end of her demo, but that was more focused on her past. In the story itself, we had her admission of her dark past and how much she cares about Astra. But as I have stated before, music and these music videos have a way to far more viscerally represent these emotions and these feelings and these experiences. Visually, we can see the transition in Evelyn's life caused by Astra, and every single line of the song is brimming with the pure emotion of Evelyn being so incredibly thankful for this impact that Astra has had on her life. And at the end here, this willingness to be beside her, and not believing that it's only because she is following Astra that she has any reason to live, but rather that Astra has given her the chance to together live a life that they both love. And I absolutely love that. It is amazing. And though I could continue to just gush about Evelyn's relationship with Astra, I think I will leave things there. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe and leave a comment on your thoughts. I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye.